welcome to Doris and Kids. If you're new here, my name is Doris. I'm a mom of four. My kids and I recently moved from a converted school bus into a four-barrel house. Moving from the bus to the house was a huge change, and we didn't have a lot of things we needed to be able to live comfortable at the four-barrel house. We had cookwares and clothing from the bus, but a lot of the furniture and bedding was built into the bus that we couldn't remove out. So I needed furniture and bedding for the house. And one of my first projects that I decided to build was the dining room table. If you're mom or you have kids around you, you know kids eat and they're always eating. If you're a homeschool mom, then you know a chunk of your budget goes to food because your kids have multiple snacks and multiple breakfasts a day. So I needed a place for the kids to be able to eat their food. And for the dining room table also function as our schoolroom. So I needed a table for my kids to be able to do school and to be able to eat. This table is a farmhouse style table. I didn't have any kind of plan. I looked up Pinterest to see what kind of style I would like, and I just went to Home Depot. I got some wood and I cut it down, and I prayed to God that it came the way I was envisioning it in my head. The material for the table, the top of the table is 2x8, and the leg is 4x4, and then the support system is 2x2. That is the same material I used to build the benches. So my tools that I used for this build was my jigsaw, my sander, and my drill. And I also use a pocket hole tool to make pocket hole, but you don't have to do pocket hole. I just prefer to use pocket holes for my builds, just because it makes everything just neater and it's very durable. And I also use wood glue to add extra support, just because my kids will jump on the table and will climb on the table, and we use this table a lot for eating and homeschool. But if you don't have a jigsaw, you can take your cut list to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they will cut it down for you. So all you have to do is to have a sander and a drill to drill everything together. Okay, so the table is 3x6, and I made that measurement based on the space I have. Okay, I didn't want it to be too big and I didn't want it to be too small, because I have 4 kids and we do use this for homeschooling as well. So you see I have a pencil thing right there. So they have a lot of books up here. So I wanted it to be the right size, but I also needed to be able to utilize the space. I don't feel that the table is taking away the whole space. So to do that, I also made sure instead of having chairs, I built benches. Mostly because I have extra wood left over, and I'm not very good at building chairs. I didn't want to buy chairs because a lot of store-bought stuff is not very durable for my kids, and it just break it anyway. So I decided to build benches for 2 purposes. 1, it was cheaper and durable, and 2, the benches slide right on the table when it's not being used. That way, I have ample amount of space around the table for the kids to run around. Since 3 of my kids are on the younger side and they do play around, they do have wars in here, I want to make sure they have the space that they're not bumping into furniture that could, the space could be utilized for play. But for my table for the leg, I'm using 4x4, okay, and I cut this down to 30 inches. And then this right here, the long piece is 61.5, and then the short piece going on the side is 25.25. And if you get the 96 inches from Lowe's or Home Depot, that's going to give you the long piece and the short piece. So all you need is 2x4 for the square around. For the middle part, this is also 25.25 for these 2 pieces. You don't need all this middle stuff in there. You can just wood glue these, or you can pocket hole screw it, and that is enough structure for any household. But I decided to put that in there because my kids literally jump on table. This is 25.25, and it's just going to go in the middle for support. And then this right here, I don't have a measurement for this and I don't have a special tool. As you can see, a lot of the time you need to have a miter saw. You can tilt it to cut it down. I don't have that, and that's just going to provide more structure for the table. How did I put that out? Well, I'll figure that out later. So that's going to provide a little more structure for the table. So now I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to show y'all the table itself, which is on the bottom. My table is going to be 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. And the way I did a measurement, since I don't have a wood working table right now, all I have is the floor. I cut this first, my 3 feet. So after I cut my 3 feet side, I spread it out to get my 6 feet that I needed for my table. Okay. So then when I have my 6 feet I needed for my table, which is 72 inches, I measure the inside of it to get my inside measurement to cut these. So then I took the measurement of the inside to be able to get my 58 inches measurement. So then I cut 5 of my 2x8, which is exactly what I needed. I was glad for that, which is exactly what I needed for my table. Like I said, building this again, I would have cut, now I know this is 58 inches. I will cut that first and then cut these last. That would depend on how much space I have up here to be able to account for that. Okay, so then the next thing I did after I had this down was I needed a way to attach all of these together. So then I got my 2x4 and I let it fly here to have a little bit of room because I need this 2x4 to be able to attach to this end piece and these little pieces. So I just have it hanging a little bit. This is just my long 2x4 and I just did one side. And then I have 2 inches out to be able to have a little hang room that we are not, hitting outside, whatever. Just a little hang room up here, 2 inches. And I did that on both sides. Okay, and then what I felt like that was enough space to connect this hanging piece and these together. I measured that out and then I cut it. And then I just repeated the same process for the other side and then I laid it down. So that just gave me my first attachment support. So I have the 2 inches. And then when I have that on both sides, I measure the inside of my wood, which give me the 25 1/4. After I had this line up, I went to the leg and I cut a leg down to the length I wanted. I wanted 30 inches. So I just cut the leg down to 30 inches with my 2x4. My 4x4, not 2x4, 4x4. So the trick with the 4x4, when I was using my jigsaw, my blade is not long enough to go through the 4x4. So what I did, I just measured on both sides. I draw the line on this side and on the side. And I cut halfway through and then flip it around and cut it on a half. This is how I was able to cut my 4x4. The next time if I'm going to make this table, I'm just going to have them cut it at Lowe's or Home Depot. That would have been way easier for me. So after I did that, then I was like, I want more support. So then I got an extra wood and I just put that there for my extra support. And that's why I'm at right now. Okay, so This is all I can do by myself. I can't flip the table around. Well, I took it off the back, but I can't really do anything else with the table. So I'm gonna have to wait until my brother get here and flip it over. That was a lot of work. I should have just left it there. But with this side, I can sand it down. And then just wait for him to get here and then help me flip it over and stain it. But yeah, so this is the final table right now. I am going to epoxy the table whenever I'm done with my own project. Just right now, it's not the most important thing on the list. And the reason I'm going to do that, one, I left the holes that the wood came with. I didn't put filler in there because I wanted to have character on the table. And I also left some gaps between the table to give it a farmhouse look. But with that gap comes with food crumbs between the table. I didn't vacuum that out so you can see what I'm talking about. I usually have to vacuum this out and it's becoming a very tedious job. And I also have some artworks up here from my kids with like markers and things like that on the table. So I'm going to epoxy the table to make it a little bit more durable and to make it easier to clean. Thank you so much for watching the video and sticking around. I am very close to 500 subscribers. I really appreciate it if you become one of those subscribers and subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification button so you can be notified whenever I post new video about my bill, homeschooling, and just trying to survive as a single divorced mom of 4. Thank you so much for sticking around and have a blessed day.